Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Kayfabe Central Podcast of the Kayfabe Recap. This is episode 2 of the Kayfabe Recap, a series that I started last week and is going to be an ongoing thing every single Sunday. This is not going to come out when I'm recording it. I'm going to schedule this for later on because the Mikey Truth interview dropped today as well. That dropped at 11 a.m. So if you haven't gone and checked that out, go ahead and check it out. Already self promo, right? But yeah, we're here with the Kayfabe recap. We have quite a bit of things to talk about here on the Kayfabe recap. Before we get into that, though, as always, make sure you guys are subscribed, like, and comment. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all the videos and podcasts and interviews that come to the channel. Subscribe to the God damn, I keep wanting to promote the Ko-Fi page. It's such a habit. Don't subscribe to the Kayfabe Central Ko-Fi page. At least not right now. But go check out the Kayfabe Central website. That's where all my articles, coverage posts, written predictions, all that good stuff are over there on the Kayfabe Central website. So go ahead and check that stuff out. Um, we also have a group and community section over there on the Kayfabe Central website. So if that's something that interests you, then go ahead and check that out. We also have a Discord server. So if you want to build a little bit of a community over there on Discord, you are more than welcome to and go and check that out. And feel free to shoot me a message if the Discord server gets more live and more people join in because I'm currently not active in the Discord server. So, but that doesn't mean anybody else can't join, just join in and maybe just shoot me a message on Instagram or TikTok or something like that and just let me know, be like, hey, the Discord server is getting pretty active right now. Um, so yeah, go check that stuff out. And speaking of TikTok, make sure you guys go check out my TikTok as well. I post a variety of different things over there on TikTok. Also, I cross post it on my YouTube Shorts and stuff and Instagram Reels, all that good stuff. So make sure you guys keep a lookout for all those things as well. The self promos out of the way. Let's jump straight into some of these topics that we have. Same format as last week, where I'm gonna preview, Monday Night Raw, NXT, Dynamite, SmackDown, TNA, and then some Ontario independent shows that are going down. Um, so let's start off with Monday Night Raw. We have the last time is now tournament continuing with Gunther taking on Carmelo Hayes. Obviously, Carmelo Hayes beat Bronson Reed by disqualification on SmackDown, so he advanced in the next round. I think this is going to be as simple as Gunther beats Carmelo Hayes. As much as, we talked about on the podcast, as much as we would love Carmelo Hayes to win, I don't think it's going to happen. And if Carmelo Hayes does win this match, I think he wins the entire tournament and faces John Cena in his final match. I brought up the fact that he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but usually that doesn't mean anything anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just went with Gunther here, because I think everybody knows that it's more than likely going to be Gunther that wins this tournament. Another last time is now tournament match though. Solo Sikoa takes on Penta. Solo Sikoa obviously beat Dolph Ziggler last week. Penta beat Finn Balor, so this match is set up. It doesn't really matter who wins this match, to be honest. Like I said, moments ago, it's gonna be Gunther that wins this entire tournament. So realistically, it doesn't matter. Um, I could see Penta winning it. Solo Sikoa has the 5-on-5 Survivor Series match, plus things with the Wyatt Six. So doesn't really make sense for him to do so many things at once. So I assume Penta will win this match, and advance in the tournament. Obviously, Penta's not going to be the one to win this tournament, but hopefully it's a fun match at least. Um, we have a men's War Games advantage match. They haven't announced um who's going to be wrestling in the men's advantage match. But it could be fun either way. There's fun guys on both sides of things. So, you could put CM Punk and Logan Paul together. You could put I don't know, Cody and I don't know, Cody and Drew, I guess, together again, maybe. I don't know, Cody and Bronson, Cody and Braun. There's a lot of fun matchups you can do on both sides. So, I'm interested to see what the advantage match is for that. Um, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar are both set to appear on this episode of Monday Night Raw as well. So that's going to be interesting. I highly doubt it, but I wonder if they're going to have Brock Lesnar in the advantage match to really give them the edge to get the advantage in War Games, and like realistically, if you have Brock Lesnar, um, right there, why wouldn't you use him in your advantage match, right? So, I can definitely see them going down that route. Um, I wonder if maybe they are bold enough to do a Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match on an episode of Monday Night Raw, for the advantage match. I think that would be a pretty cool callback. Obviously the feud itself wasn't the greatest thing ever, back then when it was happening, but right now, I guess it can be a little cool, callback. I stand by my opinions about Brock Lesnar being in the WWE currently. I don't think it's a good idea. But I'm trying my best to put those things aside and just kind of look at it differently. Um, still don't like the guy personally, but you know what? A Brock and Roman match on Monday Night Raw will get a lot of attention, so why not if you can? Um, so I was gonna save these for last. Um, Actually, yeah, you know what? I'll save the spoiler stuff for last. Because I do have spoilers for NXT and SmackDown. So, I'm going to skip through that, and then I'm going to get to NXT Gold Rush and SmackDown spoilers at the end. So that way, if anybody doesn't want spoilers, you can just be like, okay, this is the point of the video where I'm just going to click off. So I'll save that to the end. Let's talk about AEW Dynamite. There's not much actually announced so far for Dynamite. The Continental Classic is set to begin. Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kazuchika Okada are all going to be a part of it. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be very interesting. I talked a little bit about that on the Full Gear post show last night. And it's very possible we see the disintegration of the Don Callis family very soon, especially with them feuding with the Elite. Which is very interesting considering they just added a shit ton of new members. But at the same time, the Don Callis family has been a thing going on for quite a few years now in AEW. So I wouldn't be surprised if, Don Callis, finally, you know, couldn't get couldn't be one step ahead, and the Elite is one step ahead of them. Um, so yeah, nothing else really announced for AEW Dynamite so far, not that I saw at least. I know we're gonna have a women's AEW women's tag title tournament match. I can't remember which match it is. I think it's the Willow and Harley one, which I believe is against the Sisters of Sin, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that match is happening on Dynamite this week. I could be wrong though. Um, I can't remember if they said anything on Full Gear last night about it. But I know they just pushed this Continental Classic thing, very heavy, because it's, for the, AEW fans, it's a thing that a lot of people I think look forward to each year. Um, so yeah, it could be a lot of fun. It could be a lot of good matches and great matches that come out of this tournament. Um, so TNA Impact has been a very vocal point on the podcast the past week. But obviously we have that coming up this week as well. Mike Santana takes on Robert Stone, obviously because of the feud that he's having with NXT and not going back after the TNA World Championship yet. We've talked about that numerous times, so I'm not gonna, repeat myself. I think this is a stupid angle to take. It's the guys invading from NXT are just a bunch of guys in NXT who aren't doing anything. So I don't think this really matters too much. Um, I think after Showdown, the whole invasion stuff just, it, it got kind of stale. It's like, okay, we had the Showdown pay-per-view. Um, or special show, um, I should say. And after that, it was what it was. Brooks Jensen takes on the hometown man. Again, I have no interest in this at all. As much as I liked Brooks Jensen, I don't like the hometown man gimmick. We all know who it is under the mask, and I don't understand the whole concept of him being like, "Oh, I'm gonna retire," but then he just comes back after a mask. That being Cody Deaner, of course. I don't know. I don't like this gimmick of the hometown man. It's stupid. It's silly, and not a good kind of silly either. But yeah, Brooks Jensen versus the hometown man is happening. The Hardys, Steve Macklin and Cedric Alexander take on High Rise, Stax, and Lexus King. This could be a fun match. This could be a fun match. There's some fun names in here. Lexus King is, someone I think in terms of a character. work, he's, the perfect piece of shit. He plays that very well. In ring, I think he still needs a little bit of work. Stacks is Stacks. He's all right. He's not a terrible wrestler. He's not a fantastic wrestler either. Stacks is cool though. High Rise, I guess they're just looking to gain some momentum after losing Wesley. I can definitely see a scenario where we see High Rise and maybe somebody else take on the Rascals, and it's kind of a thing where High Rise is like, they say to Wesley, you got fired, you're not our boss anymore, kind of thing. So I definitely see them going down that route if they want to involve High Rise a lot more in something. So yeah, that's TNA Impact, what's set up for that so far. Obviously, that was pre-taped, so they haven't announced every single thing that's happening. I wonder if we're gonna get another stupid segment where the Elegance brand is looking for Mr. Elegance. I have a feeling that's gonna be a weekly occurrence kind of thing, just to keep them in the loop. But it's not the greatest thing. But you know what? As Rue says, lol TNA, right? Um, let's get into some Ontario wrestling stuff. So next Sunday on November 30th, I believe that's the date on next Sunday. November 30th, New Wave Wrestling is hosting this show. I think this is their first show, if I'm not mistaken, here in Toronto. Obviously, New Wave is a wrestling school over in the UK, and they, created this one as a branch to the UK school. So, um, there's a lot of people, a lot of known names that are going to be on the show for New Wave, with the likes of Alexia Nicole, Jody Threat, Von Vertigo. So I'm going to go through some of the matches that they did announce. I'm sure they have a lot more matches set up, but there's a lot of times where, some matches are announced and then last minute some other matches are added to the show and they don't really have time to make the match card graphics, all that stuff. It's usually just how it goes with independent wrestling, to be honest. But we have a Fatal Four-Way International Championship match. Jody Threat, Von Vertigo, Flash Morgan Webster, and Matt Gatlin, all in a Fatal Four-Way match. Obviously, Jody Threat, a TNA superstar. Von Vertigo is a fantastic talent, and he's somebody else who I think should absolutely be signed in the future, or very, very soon at least, because he is so, so good in the ring. He's another guy who, may be undersized a little bit, but the way he moves in there, man, that really doesn't matter because he's just so good. Um, for me, when I look at Von Vertigo, I think of someone who could fit perfectly in a Ring of Honor or, like starting off in a small role in AEW kind of thing, or maybe even a TNA. But I just talked about TNA, and TNA is in a different realm at the moment, so I definitely see Von Vertigo in like a Ring of Honor type of environment. So that match should be a lot of fun. Um, they have the Talent Surplus Invitational, so it's just a bunch of wrestlers. I'm not sure if this is like a gauntlet match or battle royal. Maybe it's said on the post and I just completely missed it. But the talent included in this is Boris Krobos. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, actually. I love Boris though. Brent Banks, Freedom Wallace, Take It Easy Joey, Matty Z, and a lot more added into this. I think this is a 9-person invitational match, is what they said on the post. Um, all these guys that I mentioned, I've met personally, I've talked to personally. They're all fantastic wrestlers, all fantastic people. Actually, except for Brent Banks, I haven't actually met Brent Banks personally, but I've seen his work, and he is absolutely talented. He's so good in there. Um, yeah, that should be a lot of fun. So, if you're in the area, go check that out. We also have a 6-man tag match. Mark Wheeler. I might mispronounce some names here. Mark Wheeler, Koya Cole, Tio Tequila versus Brian Sinclair, Kurt Atlas, and Duke Degnan. Again, if I mispronounce names, please let me know. I do that a lot sometimes. So if I mispronounce your name and you're listening to this, just let me know. And yeah, I apologize in advance if I mispronounce anybody's name. Um, that should be fun as well. There's only a couple guys in there that I have met personally, like Brian Sinclair. Such a good gimmick that he has. And he does such a great job. Take It Easy Joey has been making a name for himself as well. Over in the invitational match. Um, And yeah, obviously Mark Wheeler, very known in the Ontario independent scene as well. So yeah, a lot of good stuff there. And then finally, or at least one of the final matches that I saw, Alexia Nicole versus Danny Luna versus Aluna, in a triple threat match. So obviously, my indie spotlight this past week was Alexia Nicole. I talked about a lot how she's incredibly talented. Um, and Danny Luna obviously being a TNA talent, she's talented as well. So this looks like it's setting up to be a very fun show. A lot of fun talent on this card. So if you're in the area, definitely go check out New Wave Wrestling. It should be a really fun show. Really fun show. Really fun talent on here. Um, I think there's some other guys from the UK that are coming through as well that they announced, and so much other talent that they announced for this show also. So there's probably more than likely going to be more matches added to this card. So make sure you guys go check it out. It should be a very fun show. If you're in the area, just go ahead and look up New Wave Wrestling for next Sunday, November 30th. I believe that's the date. Um, so yeah, go check that stuff out. Um, let's go on to the spoiler stuff. So let's go to NXT. We have some spoilers for NXT. So once again, this is your spoiler warning. If you don't want spoilers, then click off the video now. This is how we're going to close out the kayfabe recap. So yeah, don't want spoilers, just click off the video. But if you do, then you're still here. So uh, for NXT Gold Rush Week 2, Jackson Drake defeated Super Sean Legacy to retain the Evolve Championship. Um, Sean Legacy is in like this Javon Evans role and Jordan Grace role where it's like they have him look really good up until the championship match and then he just loses. I don't know why they seem hesitant to put a title on Super Sean Legacy. He is very talented. So I'm not sure what that's about. But from what I heard, they put on a good match. Kendall Gray defeated Laney Reed to retain the Evolve Women's Championship. Um, I'm happy that Kendall Gray retains here. I don't think Laney Reed was the right person to take that title off of her, but I was thinking that she might because I was thinking that maybe they go with Fatal Influence holding all the gold, but obviously that's not the route that they take. Miles Bourne defeated Trick Williams to qualify for the Iron Survivor match at NXT Deadline. I know Rue mentioned on the podcast yesterday that he was, um, he was sure that Miles Warren was going to win this match, and obviously, he does. He beats Trick Williams and qualifies. I hope Trick Williams just gets called up to the main roster. I think he's ready for it. He has nothing left to do on NXT, and I don't want to see him being thrown in the loop of the NXT Championship again. Not even the North American Championship. That wouldn't make sense with Ethan Page and a heel versus heel dynamic anyway. So just send him up to the main roster. He's ready. And you could say the same thing for Obafemi also. Um, Lei Ying Lee won the TNA Knockouts Championship in a triple threat match with Kalani Jordan, of course, the former champion now, and Jordan Grace, who just can't win anything at all. Um, yeah, this was very interesting. I did not expect them to go with Lei Ying Lee. Um, I don't know what the point in was of turning Kalani Jordan heel and then just taking the title off of her. I don't know if this was a thing where it's like, okay, we're gonna try her with being a heel champion, and they saw that the promos weren't getting a good feedback and it wasn't that good. So maybe they decided to backpedal a little bit and just be like, you know what, we're gonna take the title off or this isn't working. Maybe they turn it back babyface. I think it's too soon. You just turned her heel, but everybody in NXT goes through I guess the test you could say of being a heel. And so Kalani Jordan is going through that at the moment. So I'm curious to see what the fallout from that is going to be. If she's going to go back to being babyface slowly, or if she's just going to crash out every single week and want a rematch and then lose the rematch and then they do nothing with her. The typical WWE booking. Um, so there's that. Fallon Henley won the Speed Championship after defeating Zarya. So Zarya did not bring it back to Zaruka. Um, that's interesting because Fallon Henley wins the Speed Championship. JC Jane is obviously the NXT Women's Champion. Um, and Laney Reed is the only one without a title. So that's why I was mentioning on the headlines last week that maybe we'll see a little bit of friction between um Fallon Henley, between Fatal Influence, between, JC Jane and Fallon Henley and Laney Reed, with Laney Reed being the only one not a champion because she failed. And maybe JC Jane's goes something along like, we're both champions and you failed to get it done. Maybe you don't belong in this group kind of thing. Um, because like why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they second guess the one person not winning a championship and the other two did? So it's gonna be, intriguing to see where they go with that. Again, I don't think JC Jane should be the NXT Women's Champion again. I don't. I think they took it off Tatum Paxley way too soon, and I think Tatum Paxley versus Izzy Dame again would have made sense had it been for the NXT Women's Championship. Um, but it's very possible we could set up, like I mentioned, before for a triple threat match for the NXT Women's title that includes JC Jane, Izzy Dame, and Tatum Paxley. Um, we had a segment to close NXT where Trick Williams came out to the ring and he called out Miles Bourne. I guess Miles Bourne beat him earlier. He called out Miles Bourne. Um Bourne came out, Williams backed away. Dark State tried to jump Miles Bourne for some reason, but then Javon Evans, Leon Slater, and Joe Hendry all made the save. And the show ended with a big brawl. I don't understand what they're doing here. Joe Hendry was just doing a thing with Thea Hale. This is all over the place, man. I really don't understand what their Dark State just needs to go. They just need to go. They're not good at all. It's a knockoff Retribution, and somehow I feel like it may be worse than Retribution. I feel like Retribution may have had a little bit more potential than this because this is just bad. Um, and they have these baby faces that they're doing nothing with, just thrown into a feud with Dark State. It doesn't make sense. Um, so I have no idea where they're going with that. Um, Let's get into some Friday Night SmackDown spoilers, though. So in the last time is now tournament, Rusev versus Jey Uso went one-on-one. Jey Uso beats Rusev to advance in the tournament. I'm not really surprised, to be honest. I was kind of hoping Rusev would win, but um, yeah, Jey Uso advances in the tournament. I hope, really, really hope that they don't go with Jey Uso and Gunther in the final because Rue was saying that they might, and I really see that happening. Because their whole explanation would be like, oh, it's another rematch between Gunther and Jey Uso, WrestleMania rematch. Gunther took the world title from Jey Uso, kind of thing. And it's like, no, it's not interesting. I don't really care. Um, but yeah, Jey Uso beats Rusev. Chelsea Green finally had her championship celebration, but it was interrupted by Jade Cargill, who then hit a Jaded on Chelsea Green and left the ring. Again, I hope this doesn't lead to Jade Cargill being a double champion because it, for some reason, um, doesn't matter which company, whether it be WWE, AEW, it seems like all wrestling companies just have this, thing of putting multiple championships on one person. And, sometimes it makes sense, but sometimes it doesn't at all. And it's like, okay, they don't need this many championships, Mercedes Moné. Um, but yeah, I hope that's not the route that they go. But based on this, I'm starting to sense that's where they are going, and it's just not going to be good. If you just shove Jade Cargill down fans' throats, they're going to hate her even more, and it's not going to be good heat. It's going to be go away heat. So I don't think that's a good idea if that's the route they're going down. Um, the Miz was revealed as Sheamus's opponent, or sorry, Sheamus's replacement in the last time he's now tournament. So Miz goes one-on-one with LA Knight. R-Truth was a part of that segment backstage where the Miz was announced as the replacement. So that led to LA Knight versus the Miz. LA Knight beats the Miz to advance in the tournament. So um, I'm hoping it's LA Knight versus Gunther in the finals rather than Jey Uso versus LA Knight. I actually can't remember what sides of the brackets they are on at the moment. but I think LA Knight and Gunther are on opposite sides of the bracket. So hopefully we get LA Knight and Gunther in the finals. Um, a War Games advantage match went down with Charlotte Flair and Asuka. Charlotte Flair beats Asuka in the WrestleMania rematch to get the advantage for War Games. So I'm thinking because Charlotte Flair won this match on the men's side of things, the heels are gonna win their advantage match, and um, they're going to do the opposite thing, right? The women's have the babyface advantage, but then the heels have the advantage. They never usually do the same thing, so um, I can see that being the case. Uh, Solo Sikoa, and the MFTs went against Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, Ray Phoenix, and the Motor City Machine Guns in the 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match. Solo Sikoa lastly eliminated Sami Zayn to be the sole survivor, and Solo and the MFTs win that match. After the match, the Wyatt Six confronted Solo Sikoa and Uncle Howdy made his return and laid out Solo Sikoa with a sister Abigail. So they are obviously continuing that feud. I hope they actually do something with this feud because it's just gone nowhere. They've been doing nothing. It's just been backstage segments with, Sami Zayn and the Motor City Machine Guns and Ray Phoenix and Shinsuke all involved for some reason. And the Wyatt Six are just on the sidelines as the tag champs just watching on. So doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Um, but that is your kayfabe recap for this week and all things that are upcoming in the world of professional wrestling this week. Let me know your thoughts as always. I want to know what you guys have to say. You guys are just as big a part of the show as I am, so let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Whether you're listening on YouTube or Spotify, let me know your thoughts. And you can also let me know on things I mentioned earlier, whether it be TikTok, the Discord server, Instagram, all that good stuff is linked down below in the description. I will be back with the Monday Night Raw post-show review tomorrow night, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And that is the next time you will see me. So yeah. Thank you everybody for tuning in to episode 2 of the Kayfabe Recap. I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.